Hello everybody, and welcome back to some more Summonite Swordcraft story. And some more Palm Dogs, hooray. Anyway, there's a boss fight coming up, so you might want to be at full health. You should be at full health because there's a thing right there to heal your HP and MP. But make sure you have your weapons with a lot of durability equipped, I suppose. Because I know there are weapons like the Crystal Sword that really doesn't have much durability at all. And there's Urexa again, being all crazy. So he's mad at Tyrum for not really doing anything. And so, let's help Tyrum. I assume the game just has you fight Urexa anyway, if you press the other option. I don't know if that happens or not, but anyway, we're gonna fight Urexa again. I think that spear is different from the one he had before. I think this one actually has an element equipped attached to it, because I don't recall the blade having that weird that little animation on it. I think before it was just a solid green. I could be wrong. No. But I think this fight actually went a little bit easier than the other one. In the previous fight, I should say. Considering how much I did to his how much damage I've done to his weapon already. But this isn't a difficult fight. Just keep wailing on him with your drill, and eventually you'll destroy the durability of his weapon, and he won't be able to fight any longer. And that's pretty much all there is to this fight. There really isn't anything, there isn't too much strategy that you really need to have in this fight, to be honest. All you really need to do is keep wailing on him, and make sure when your health gets to probably around the 300s, like around there, is probably when you should start healing up. Because he, with the enchant wind that he had on his weapon there, he could easily do more than 300 damage to you if he gets you in a combo. But anyway, we destroy his weapon, and it's our victory! Hooray! And with that, we level up. Or just, no, we do, it's us that levels up. And of course I put into defense because it's just the way I am. And yeah, this time Urexa really wasn't hurt or anything like that, so we actually took him down. So all he wants to do is destroy the Holy Spirit. And so he has the brilliant plan of just hoping someone somewhere could defeat it. Which is, I don't know, not so brilliant, because we don't really know how powerful it is. So he just learns about this now that Tyrum's been studying how to defeat Persta as well. if not cure his sister's illness. And then he just goes apeshit and just kills himself. Yes, I spoil it 2 seconds before he actually does it, but he kills himself. For no real reason. He's like, I will die for her because I'm here. Like, what? No. I don't get it. There was literally no point in him doing that. He was working with the Daiglians or whatever, but he didn't do anything bad at all while working for them. He could have easily have come back. He might have lost his status as a craft lord, but he could have continued living with his sister in Tiram. So I don't get why he killed himself. Maybe it's something, maybe it has to do with his beliefs or whatnot. Maybe it's form of seppuku. It's not seppuku. What's it called? Seppuku. Yeah, seppuku. Seppuku, not seppuku. Maybe that's what that scene was sort of going for there, but or maybe the translation was just that great, but I don't know. I just felt the whole scene was sort of like idiotic. Now, you can go upwards in the dungeon here, but I don't feel like there's any... I don't think there's any point in doing so. There might be some treasures and whatnot over there, but at this point all you have to do is leave. I don't know why I didn't get rid of this stuff, but eh. I suppose I was just lazy. Let's see here. Was there anything else I needed to mention? I don't believe so. You know, talking about Summonhead again. I like the game, but I feel like its story is one of its main weak points. It's just sort of there. It's not like the main point of the story was the tournament, and I get they wanted to give you a little break from that, but they just sort of completely get rid of the tournament entirely here. I'm sure we'll get back to it, but like the whole tournament plot to become a craft lord just stops for a while. For no real reason either. I mean, I guess we can assume that Lubert and Urexa's working with the Daiglians, or however you pronounce their names, it causes this tournament to be delayed. But I think this tournament's still going on even with all of this happening, because nobody knows about it but like the craft lords and Terry and his friends. So I'm not really sure like what's causing Terry not to move on, because he's in the semifinals right now. If anything, they probably should have had more tournament battles, and after each of these dungeons you would go into a battle with in the tournament to keep it still in the story, because it just disappears for no good reason. Like we don't even go back to the tournament after this plot here. We're going to, after this, we're going to go to another area that has nothing to do with the tournament, and the tournament isn't even mentioned, I don't think. So, the story is kind of eh. It works, I suppose, but it could have been a lot better. Like I said, it may have been the translation and whatnot, but I feel that the story is one of this game's weaker points. Although I probably should say that, keep in mind that I'm just really thinking about the story as a whole, just like watching this footage again, because when I'm playing the game, I don't really think about the story at all. I read it, and you know, I understand what's going on, but I don't think about its overall quality usually in a game. I just play through the game and go along with the story. I usually don't think about this kind of stuff unless I'm giving it a second look through, which is what I'm doing now. I've played this game once before, I'm playing it again, and I'm noticing some little minor issues that I have with it. And the story isn't anything amazing, to be honest. I think the second game might have had a better story to go along with it, but I don't recall. Not sure if I even beat the second one. I know I got close. I know that much. I remember I got stuck, and I couldn't figure out where to go. And I just stopped playing it. Anyway, so Nari has something to tell us here. So she's apologizing for something that I don't even know what she's apologizing for. Hang on, let me read this. So she knew all about this stuff, but I don't understand why she's apologizing. There was no real reason why we should have known, or any real reason for her to tell us. Maybe the dad's sword thing, but nothing really bad came of it. Like her not telling us, because we did everything anyway. Because we got all of our dad's swords. So I don't understand why she's apologizing. I get it's for like the emotional aspect. She should have told us sooner. But overall, it wouldn't really have changed much now that I think about it. So I guess in this world, being a hero is synonymous with killing yourself, because it seems like that every hero dies in some way, so... Anyway, oh yeah, he mentions the tournament here. He'll have his semi-final match soon. Will we finally continue with the plot of the tournament? And no, we won't. We won't do anything with the tournament at all during this episode. So anyway, Sakura comes over here, and he tells us, "Hey, come with me to some base somewhere, Diglian base, and some." I won't even talk about what's going on in the story right now. I'm sure you guys can guess my thoughts, and if not, then plant your own thoughts into mine. And think that what you thought is what I thought. And yes, I'm pretty sure if we press no, we're gonna go with him anyway. Anyway, he gives us Labyrinth Key 4, so it's time to go explore the Labyrinth again. Oh boy. I don't think I speed up at all this time. I'm pretty sure I don't. So he gives us Braun here gives us a new sword to craft, and of course I don't want to know how to craft that. I want to know how to craft drills that can pierce the heavens. So come on, Braun, let me know how to make a drill. He tells us to be careful, of course, and let's learn how to make a new drill. All right. Now I'm just going back up into the into our workshop, and let's see. Pretty sure we should have gotten some materials from the dungeon. And it's probably, as you can guess, it's a lot of wind-related items. I suppose those dungeons are there to help you find a place to properly, well, not to properly, to more easily attain a certain type of material. But you can just get materials of all kinds in the normal labyrinth, so, eh. Although it seems there's a weird disconnect, I'll call it, between material distribution. Like the blue seems to be the one that I have the most trouble of actually finding. The blue material type. That's the only one that's actually rare, and I don't know if that was intentional or not. Maybe I'm just not lucky in finding the correct materials. But what I've also noticed is that what else did I notice? I haven't noticed anything. What am I talking about? Oh no, but if they were gonna make something, a material rare, they probably should have made the core parts a rare material instead of the blue material type. Maybe I'm overthinking things, but it's just weird to me. Anyway, let's equip our new weapons here. I don't really like the crystal sword, to be honest, but I replaced the bastard sword since it is weaker than the crystal sword. The crystal sword does a lot of damage but has low durability. So I suppose if you're going to fight a boss with it, you would use it in conjunction with the support ability that your summon, well, guardian beast has, that will prevent it from losing durability. So that's something you would need to do. Anyway, let's head into the labyrinth and do some exploring. Sort of tradition now, whenever we're able to go further into the labyrinth, we'll go all the way down as far as we can, and you know, then we'll continue on with the story. We actually do explore quite a bit of the labyrinth. I think we get to around like floor 30, close to 40, I think. Anyway, I skip right to I forget where, but we've been here before. Floor 22. We've been here before. I know that much. I believe this is before we fought that summon beast, the old guy told us to kill. Well, told us to find a part, and we killed that summon beast to get the part. I forget the exact. I think it was here actually, in that area where I am right now. But I forget what he exactly wanted us to find. But I suppose it doesn't matter. You could have gone down here earlier in the game, but after you killed that one summon beast, it didn't let you go down here, which I don't know why it wouldn't. I don't know why it wouldn't let you. Perhaps. Oh God, what did I do? Okay, move that. I just kicked. Well, I didn't kick. I just sort of like tapped my router with my knee. Not knee, my foot. It always seems to move forward whenever I move it back for some reason. Perhaps it has a mind of its own. But yeah, I don't know why the game wouldn't let you come down here earlier. Like I said, I suppose it's because the monsters here are a little bit tough. And it looks like I am having a bit of trouble with them, but you could have come here earlier. Maybe your own character would have stopped you, because before he stopped us by telling us that we needed to go back to see Master Rondu, I think he was called. The old guy. And he might have said something like, we shouldn't go down there if you want to try to go here earlier. Who knows? Anyway, I believe we were told earlier in the game that this labyrinth has 50 floors, and we're nearing the 50th floor, and I suppose that's a good indicator that we're getting close to the end of the game. We are in the semi-finals of the tournament, after all. Kind of odd. Kind of odd that I keep finding like parallels between different games we're playing. This and Fate Extra has the tournament going on. Fate Extra and Super Robot Wars has a Moby Dick enemy. So I don't even know what's going on anymore. If this game has a Moby Dick enemy, oh Jesus, it'll just be crazy. But I don't think this game actually has any sort of Moby Dick type enemy. By that I mean an enemy called Moby Dick. I hope not, anyway. Cloudson Potion, small generator, and another Cloudson Potion. Don't tend to use those potions, but I should probably replace the band-aids on the support bar down there, as I'll call it, with the Cloudson Potions, but I'm not going to. Well, I won't do it until I record again, probably. I hate the magic type summon beasts. They're always annoying. Thunder Bracelet. I would assume that gives us a bit of resistance against thunder type attacks. These guys here are pretty much the same as their earlier counterparts. Just jump and hit them. You shouldn't have too much trouble with them. I'd wish the random encounters were a bit. I wish they lowered the rate of the random encounters. But as I've said, they're not too long, which is why I didn't really feel need to cut them out. Normally I would have sped this up, but eh. I didn't feel like speeding up this time. We're getting to the end of the dungeon, so I decided, nah, I probably shouldn't. Probably shouldn't speed things up too often. Anyway, new enemy, Killer Axe. Pretty much the same as the enemy before, just with an axe. So, I mean, that's something. But he does gives us Mystic Ores, which is necessary for creating elemental-based weapons. In Summonite, well, here's another problem that this game sort of has, I should say. Well, there's different weapon types, so there's replayability within the game. So you could craft the different weapon types. There really is no reason to craft all the weapon types. The game sort of tries to make you craft every one, because you could go talk to Braun after you craft a weapon and get another weapon type to learn to craft. The problem is that you have no real reason to craft another weapon type other than your own curiosity. So if you find a weapon type you're familiar with or like, you have no reason to go and switch to another one. In Summonite 2, they sort of try to fix that by it sort of tries to fix that by making you create one of each weapon type. By that I mean they each do something out in the field. You know how we use our hammer out in the field in this game? In Summonite 2, each weapon has a sort of effect on different items out in the field or in the overworld, like what we're doing right now. Not in the battle, outside of battle, I should say. So to do different things, so you have to craft them at least once. Yeah, you have to craft the weapon at least once, and you have to keep it in your inventory, I believe, to use its field ability. So you always have the type. So you'll craft each type of weapon, and if you're curious, you could always just switch to it and see how it plays. I believe that's how it. That's what they did in Summonite 2. It's been a while, so if I give out false information, forgive me, please. Anyway, Summonite 2 overall is a better game than this, but I'd say play this game first. Summonite 2 is a little bit different in that it's a little bit better than this game, actually. Yeah, it's a little bit better than this game, but you wouldn't have much trouble going from that game to this game. It's not a Persona 4 and 3 sort of situation where if you play Persona 4, you're gonna have a tough time actually playing Persona 3. But anyway, we reached as far as we can actually explore. Nope, I was wrong. I thought that was actually. I don't think we actually can go beyond this room. Anyway, the enemies here aren't really giving me too much experience, but it's just the way it is. playing this game for around 6.5 hours in game time so far. In this recording, anyway. I assume I'm around 7 hours in my actual recordings, but I'm not entirely sure on that. But I can tell we're nearing the end of the game. I think this game is around 10 hours long. Might be a little bit longer, might be a little bit shorter than that. But then again, I'm not doing all the side quests and whatnot. So I may be missing out on a few game hours. So I may finish this game more quickly than others, or perhaps I'm playing this game more slowly than others. Jesus, I cannot speak. I know that this is a standard RPG sort of trope, but there is a lot of recolors in this game, to be honest. A bit more than I would have liked. Actually, nah. That's a nitpick. There's a lot of different types of enemies. It's just that they, for a Laybrinth, they tend to use some similar killer enemies. Well, the same type of enemies. This game actually does a better job of Fate Extra, of coming up with new enemy types. I'm not gonna nitpick that much and say this game uses too much recolors, because the boss type enemies are varied, which is good. And there's some new enemies whenever we go to a new dungeon area, so I'm not gonna. This game has a lot of has a variety of enemies you can fight. The Labyrinth is where a lot of the enemy recolors come in, though. The Labyrinth really isn't too creative with new enemies, which I suppose makes some amount of sense. They could have given like different sections of the Labyrinths different types of a different look. But no, they chose to keep the entire Labyrinth the same. I think actually after we reach a certain point, they changed the color. I don't recall if that's the case or not. I think it's been like 3 or 4 years since I've actually last completed this game. It's been a while. Been a long while. I'm not sure what we can do with those different wall tiles, as you see around the dungeon, like that one right there. I'm not sure what you can do with those. I don't think I figure out actually what their purpose is. Oh, we're still going down deeper? Kill Lance. Is this a new enemy or was this? I forget. It doesn't matter. There's one thing I am going to sort of nitpick about this game, is I wish there were more different battle tunes, but more often than not in some RPGs it's usually the same. They usually change it up when you go to a different area, but I keep saying but a lot. Because I'm not trying to seem too negative here, because I just complain about stuff in these videos for no other real reason but just to say some of my thoughts that I'm just noticing. That I'm gonna complain a lot, but that doesn't mean I really dislike the game for having these little issues that I see. There might not even be those big of issues. I'm sort of nitpicking just to nitpick. No other reason than that, to be honest. That's what I'm also gonna talk about during this. But yeah, Summon Night 5 is coming out soon. It's coming out this fall, and it's gonna be fall soon. So that's pretty cool. I might pick the game up when it comes out. Might not. Maybe I will. Who knows? I certainly would like to pick up the game, but it depends how much money I have at the time. Of course, I'll have to pick it up digitally because I won't have the extra money to. Anyway, before I was interrupted, I was going to say I would like to get the pre-sale copy of Summon Night 5, which is the physical copy, which comes with the UMD and digital code of the game. But I'm just going to buy the game digitally whenever it comes out in the PSN store, because I want to buy it. I would say you buy it as well if you're really interested in the Summon Night games. Not this one in particular, because this game is different. This is a spin-off. Those games are different. Those are strategy RPGs, something along the lines of Final Fantasy Tactics. I would have said Super Robot Wars, but Super Robot Wars itself is a bit different than most strategy RPGs, I think. Who knows? I don't play too many strategy RPGs. I tend to play the ones I've played are Final Fantasy Tactics, Super Robot Wars, and that's about it. Summon Night I haven't played because none of the games have released over here besides the Swordcraft story games. And I assume that's because the Tales of series has a following here, and this is a similar type of gameplay to that, so I assume they try to reach into that fan base when this game came out. I assume that's what they were going for. But anyway, if you look at Summon Night 5 and you think you're gonna like that type of gameplay, I would recommend you purchase that. Because the people that are releasing the games is a small time, not small, it's Gaijin Works, I believe, is publishing or releasing the game here. They're sort of like Exceed in a way, and they don't have a lot of budget. The only budget they had was to release the game. Just translated. They didn't have enough budget to add any voice acting or anything like that. Well, it would depend on how much pre-sales copies actually sold, actually. But yeah, so the game's just going to be translated. There's going to be very few voice dialogue scenes. I don't really mind that much. To me, it's all about the gameplay. But if you think you're going to enjoy the game, I would recommend you buy it, because if you do, and it sells relatively well, then future games in the series will be able to get released over here. And who knows, maybe if another Swordcraft story game comes out, then maybe it has a chance to get released over here. As far as I'm aware, there's no plans to make another Swordcraft story game, so I wouldn't get your hopes. I wouldn't get your hopes up. But I would say if you're thinking about getting the game, I would say get it if you can, because there needs to be an install. There needs to be a sort of a base. I won't really say this too well because I won't have time to fully explain it because there isn't enough time left in the video. So I'll see you guys again next time, whenever that is. Bye.